Hi there, this is Sheena Rowlands and today I'm sharing with you my latest layout for Hey Little Magpie using the Vickie Boutin Discover and Create. There are so many creative pieces of ephemera in this range. I'm definitely going to create a layout about creating. I'm just trying to decide here which of the more muted papers in the range I want to use on the background. And I'm having a look through to all the bits and pieces that I would like to bring in. I've decided this layout is going to be quite colourful. I think you can't help that with some of the Vickie Boutin pieces. And I think I'm going to go with this text print, which is the B-side of the currently paper. On the back it's like 8 tags, but I'm going to use this side with the print. So I'm thinking the Discover and Create title would be a perfect start to go in the centre of this layout. I'm also going to tie this layout in with the Hey Little Magpie December challenge, which is to use squares. So I'm actually going to use a square piece of paper for the centre of the layout. So that's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to trim this paper down. I'm going to take the branding strip off, and then I'm going to take about a good inch off and then see what I think there. I think that's more like 1.5 inches. I think that might work, and I'm going to distress the edges of that. And that's just plain white cardstock that I'm going to use as my base. So Julie's challenge this month is to use squares. That's for December 23, and I'm using a square as the background. So this layout fits the challenge. So I'm having a look for bits and pieces there to go behind the photograph. I don't know whether you can see it very well. I'm holding a brush and a spatula in my hand. I attended a scrapbook workshop and they had a professional photographer, and during the day I'd gone to wash my brushes, and on the way back somebody, I think the next teacher, had started to talk, so I hung back to not get in the way and to listen to what was being said, so I knew what to do next. And the photographer took this picture of me. Now, I have scrapped it before, but not for a long time. So I thought it would be ideal to go with this Vickie Boutin range. Now, some of these you're seeing now are from the papery pack. They're like some like washi stickers. The coffee rings are. So some of them I probably will add to white cardstock just to give them a bit more strength, depending on how I want to use them. But I'm looking at putting a collection in the top right and some bits around the photo in the bottom left. Now, I don't know about you, I don't actually often scrapbook that I'm a scrapbooker, if that makes sense. I scrapbook pictures of myself and my family and our travels and that sort of thing, but I don't actually scrapbook about our craft. So I thought there was so many beautiful pieces in this range. I mean, I've got chipboard there, and I've got the papery bits and there's stickers as well, and die cuts that actually I thought this would be a perfect way to do this. And I'm using the Discover in the centre for the colourway. So it's got the dark blue like I have in my clothes. It's got the orange, so I want to bring the orange in both sides of the layout as well. And the words underneath, they just help that print. It's just enough. I didn't want too bold a pattern at the bottom. So I've tidied my desk up a little. I'm going to lift all those bits out because I've got an idea what I want. So I've taken this away and I've sewn on the corners that are going to be where the clusters are going to be, and then I'm inking the edges. I did bring in a little brush. I do apologise, that paper's moving a lot. I did bring in a little brush to do the inking, but it didn't work, so I've just brought in a Tim Holmes foam one there, and I've inked the distressed edges and I've sewn. As you can see, the sewing isn't a complete square. The lines peter off into the corners. I thought that just gave it a little bit more interest rather than sewing all the way around. I think I've done 3 lines out of both corners. I really like the way this bit of collection's going with the pen and the paintbrush and the ruler. I think they go really well with the photograph. I like the ink palette and the paint box, but I do add more to that cluster, so some of it doesn't get seen as much at a later stage. But I'm chilled with that. So once I've got all that into position, I'm just cutting a bit of the ruler. I'm going to cheat. I want it to poke out the bottom of the photo. Nobody will look at the numbers. Only you and I will know that I did that. So I'm happy with that. I've not put it on foam or anything at this stage, but then I think actually that might add a little bit more dimension. So just to lift it up again. And I've got the scissors there that I definitely will add. And I'm just adding that washi coffee ring, paint ring underneath, just to fill a little gap, because obviously the word create is smaller. And I felt there was a little white space above the photo there, so that's sorted. So I like the Life is Art as well. Still got the same colours, the blues and the oranges showing, so I think that works really well. So I found this pencil sharpening on one of the washi stickers. I've added it to card. You can't really see, but off camera I'm actually trimming it by hand because I'm going to raise it up on a bit of foam. I did love it as a sticker, and then there's some tiny little shavings that I've missed there, but it still gives the right essence. And then I found a paper clip. I'm like, why not add another bit in that corner? So I am really liking the way that cluster has come together. Sometimes these things are really easy, sometimes they're not. I don't know, maybe I overthink it, which I probably do. But hey, that's kind of who I am. So I'm looking at this cluster at the top. I really like that black ampersand, but it's going to need to sit on something else. It's too dark at the moment. So I like that washi colour wheel. In fact, I like both of them, and I think I might add them both. Why not? It adds to the layers, and I quite like that splat with the purple. I realise there's quite, with that purple paintbrush in the top right corner, there is quite a bit of purple. So I'm actually, that's just made me think, actually, I need to add some more of that. Now this is a manufacturer's strip with buttons on, and I've gone through my stash and I found a punch, and I've punched out a couple. I think I even punched some more by the end. So the other half of the washi sticker goes at the top. I'm not sure you'll really see it by the end, but it's used it up as well. So I'm quite chilled about that. The layout is starting to really come together now. I had an idea that I wanted to put some twine on the elements that were in the top right, and I brought in some black twine. I punched some holes in the handle of the paintbrushes, and I had a fiddle around with the twine. I just couldn't get them to hang right. I had a look a couple of times. So I decided I'd start to stick it down and figure out how it was going to come. But it wasn't right for me. That's absolutely fine. I'm still messing with it. And it wouldn't work. So I'm just bringing this circle in. I then cut it out using a die to get it circular. And I'm still looking at this with the twine. But hey, it's the way it happens. It would have worked. If it worked, it would have been perfect. But I've decided I'm just going to stick with the flare, and that's a canvas flare made exclusively by Hey Little Magpie. So I would recommend you check those out in the store. In fact, while we're talking about Hey Little Magpie, I'd recommend you check out the scrapbook store. There's loads of ranges in there, lots of up-to-date products all the time being added. So keep checking in, and you'll obviously find all of the Discover and Create there as well. So I'm manning up, and I'm going to start to commit at the top there. So the paintbrush is down and the scissors are down, and then I'm going to look at where the badge is going, the flare, and then I will look at the last paintbrush. So I would recommend you taking part in our monthly challenges that are on our Facebook group, because there is a prize to win, points to be spent in the shop. So just make sure you put your layout in the correct album when you do that. So that is all stuck down. I'm really pleased with the way that's looking. You can see I've tidied my desk again, so I feel like I don't need to add anything. What I'm doing now is adding just some black cotton thread to some of the buttons. A couple of the bigger buttons were actual die cuts, the orange and the green one, but the smaller ones, you saw me earlier punch them out of the branding strip, the manufacturer strip. This is just black embroidery thread. I've halved it, so it's 3 strands that I'm using, because with the little buttons. So for the bigger buttons, I actually sewed over the holes twice to make it a bit thicker, a bit more noticeable. So just to mirror the flare in the top right, I've got that orange button in the bottom left. So I'm hoping I'm creating that visual triangle that makes scrapbooking layouts look more effective. But also I wanted a bit more texture, and I think that adds just that little bit more, particularly when I get to add them. I'm adding glue dots to the tiny ones, which just raises them up a tiny bit, because obviously I've got the knotted black cotton on the end. Now these chipboard pieces are also from the same range, and I thought actually I quite like the way that's creating movement between the two clusters. So I've stuck that on with some wet glue. And this is the finished layout, and there'll be some close-ups too. Thank you so much for watching. Please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channels, and we hope to see you here again real soon. Bye for now.